Hi and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make burnt ends with this tri-tip. It's a really simple recipe. We're going to cook it like a brisket, but at the end we just do those extra steps to turn it into burnt ends, which to be honest is probably one of the best bites in barbecue. You're watching Big Al's Barbecue, let's get to it. Okay, so this is about a 1.5 kilo tri-tip. Got it from John Davison, which is a butcher up in Scotland. Does fantastic products. Go and check him out. But you can see here, we've got the fat cap on the top, which sometimes you do get with tri-tips, sometimes you don't. This is slightly thicker than what I would probably want, so I'm going to do a little bit of trimming, not too much, because I do want some fat left on there. When I put on the Traeger, I'm going to put it fat side down. Because the heat comes from the bottom, I want it to hit that fat layer first so it doesn't burn the bottom of the meat. So I want to give it a little bit of protection. Plus, you know, fat equals flavour, and I don't mind when I get into the burnt ends at the end, if there's a little bit of fat on there, that's fine with me. We've got a little bit of silver skin on the back here as well, so we're going to take all that off. But really, just that little bit of scruggy bit there, but really it looks like a pretty good bit of meat. So let's get to trimming. Okay, so we got that nice and trimmed down. So that was quite a lot of hard fat actually on top of it. First of all, when I looked at that, I thought that was quite the soft fat, so I was going to leave quite a lot of it on. But when I actually started cutting into it, it was actually that hard fat, the fat that's not going to render down, so you don't want it on there. So I've actually taken that all off. I've left a little bit of the soft fat on. That will render down. That, like I say, we had to give a little bit of protection, but I've had to take most of it off, so that's okay, it's not too bad. And on the back, I took most of that silver skin off, but you do get to the point where you're taking off more meat than you really want to, so that's kind of like the time to stop really. So what we're going to next do is season this. So I'm going to use Worcester sauce as a binder. As I've said in many of my other cooks, everything that you use in your cook, from the wood to the rubs to the binders, all has flavour. So I always think that you've got to use the right thing, whether you like mustard, whether you like Worcestershire sauce, whether or not you like cider vinegar, whatever your preference is, but everything will add flavour to the end product. Okay, so let's add this Worcester sauce. So I'm trying to think which hand I want to keep clean. Always a challenge. So let's keep this one clean, best I can anyway. So really this binder will just help the rub stick to it. So get a nice decent application on there, get it all covered. Don't forget the sides as well. Okay, that's looking good. So I'm using 2 rubs today. So I'm going to use Killer Hog. So first of all I'm going to use the TX rub, which is what I use on all my briskets. And then to add a bit of colour and a little bit of flavour as well, just don't forget we're going for burnt ends at the end of this, so we're going to be adding barbecue sauce and what have you. So just to enhance those notes, we've got the barbecue rubber as well. Both of these rubs are fantastic. I use them an awful lot, they're really good. Okay. Childproof, clearly can't get them. So decent application. And then same goes for this one. Not too heavy with this one. This one's just going to add a nice bit of colour and that little bit of flavour. Do the other side. Tell you what, on days like this, this is why I love barbecue. It's a lovely sunny day. Birds are chirping away, you can probably hear in the background. I mean, you don't get a better day to do barbecue. Love it. Right, and then I've got all that rub that's on the board. Try and coat that end. But on the sides, I actually put the proper rub on. Okay, lovely stuff. Happy with that. So, we'll let that hang out for about 10-15 minutes just to let that rub adhere to it, and then we'll put it onto the Traeger. Okay, so this has had about 15 minutes. Let that rub adhere to it, and you can see it's starting to get all nice and wet, it's starting to adhere nicely. The Traeger's running at 275, like so. I'm going to put a fat cap down. So let's stick this probe in. Okay, and that should allow us to keep track on it and see where it is. Let's put it in the Traeger. Right, so I'm going to come back in a good 2-3 hours. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours now. I've let the temperature go, so it's gone over 165, but I wasn't really worried about the internal temp. What I was really worried about is getting that bark really nice and formed on there. Time to have a look, I think. Wow, look at those colours. Now I've got heat gloves on because this is going to be crazy hot. Now normally if you like, for example, doing a brisket, you would wrap it at 165, let it go to 200, then let it rest and all the rest of it. But we're not doing a brisket. So basically, the most important thing is that we get it to at least 165. This one's gone slightly over, so this is about 170, 175 at the moment. But the most important thing is that bark is beautifully formed. You can see that gorgeous colour on it. That barbecue rub, it's just worked wonders. So, like I say, normally if you're going to eat something straight away, you'd let it rest for a bit, because as soon as I cut into this, all that steam's going to go out, and that's the moisture. But on this particular case, because we're going to cube it, and then we're going to put it back on the smoker, we're going to cover it and heat it, then it doesn't matter. That's not an important factor. So, let's cube it. So, on a tri-tip, the grain runs in 2 ways. Probably easier to show you this when it was still not cooked. So it'll go this way, coming from this point, going that way, and then it'll come this way. So what we're trying to do is cut against the grain. So if I cut, well, I'm always really nervous. When it comes to cutting stuff, I don't know why I get so nervous. I'm thinking, I've done all this work to get it this far, if I mess it up, it's like knackered, isn't it? Okay, so let's actually cut it from this end. Feel more comfortable cutting it this way. So we're just going to cut it in cubes. So first of all, we'll do it in slices. Be really gentle because we don't want to mess up that bark. I'm going to turn this way and then cut this way. Can I make that one work? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So this one, I mean that right there, that's mine. I'm just going to say it right now, that is going to be mine. Right, before I cube this up, actually let's cube this up first. So you've got to make a decision whether or not you want to keep that as a tour, which I do, or whether or not it can afford to be cut in half. So you're trying to make like inch size cuts, I guess. Some are going to be a little bit bigger, but I don't have a problem personally with taking a couple of bites out of something. I'm quite happy doing that. But we want to try and get it so they're nice inch size pieces. So basically you're just going to pop it in your mouth. It's like beef candy basically. I mean, who's not going to like beef candy? It's already, you can tell already, texture on that, the consistency is already like really soft. I'm so looking forward to this, I have to say. Now this one here, that's going to be amazing. You've got loads of beautiful bark on there. Yeah, that's going to be a fantastic one, that one. I know barbecue's about sharing, but when it comes to burnt ends, like it's everyone for themselves. And as far as I'm concerned, being the chef, I get first dibs. I think it's only fair. I've done all the work. Yeah, they're looking good. That's looking really good. Really pleased with that. Okay, perfect. So they're all cubed up. If you think any are a bit too big, then you can always cut them down a little bit more, but I'm quite happy with those, to be quite honest with you. Maybe that one. Okay, so this is just normal beef broth. I've just mixed it with hot water. So remember, hot water, not cold. If you put cold water in, then you're asking the Traeger to heat up a huge amount of, basically, you're going to reduce the temperature of the meat, the cooker, everything. And also you're going to kind of like shock the meat. So it's nice and warm and it's quite happy and cozy at the moment. Put in a massive load of cold water and it's going to go, it's not going to be happy. I'm not going to add all this, I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'm just going to put in a little bit to begin with. Then I'm going to add in a good amount of barbecue sauce. Give that a mix. So these cubes are just going to suckle this up. They're going to love it. It's like a nice old bath one. So all I'm going to do is quickly toss those in. If I can, the bark side I'm going to keep up. Okay, so next I'm going to just give a good old sprinkling of the killer hog over it at 10. Again, just give a little bit, not a massive amount, just to revitalise it a little bit. And the bits where I haven't got the bark standing up, just add a little bit of flavour to those sides as well. It's running good. Right, okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is cover these in tin foil. Shiny side is down. Okay, so we're going to put that back on the Traeger. We're going to get these up to, I reckon, 205, 210. So again, when I look at these next, and I'm going to keep checking them until they're done, but I want them just to be really, 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 really squidgy. And then what we do, take the tin foil off, I'll put a bit more barbecue sauce over the top, put it back in for like 10-15 minutes to tack it up, and then they'll be done. So let's stick this back on. Okay, so it's been about an hour since we covered them, put sauce and everything on them. They should be hopefully about 210 internal temperature. Let's take them off and have a look. Oh, look at that. They are looking good. Perfect. Right, so basically what we're going to do, move these about a bit. I'm just going to pour a load of barbecue sauce on, toss them up, and then we'll leave them in there to tap back up. Time to pour over a good, I mean, I love barbecue sauce, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to just give it a good, generous. So I'm using Mitch, I'm using these naked sauce. Bit weird saying that, but there you go, that's what it's called. I'm sure he's not naked, but anyway. So give this a good toss up. Make sure you get a really nice, good coat of all that barbecue sauce. This is not the time to be stingy. Make sure you got a lovely, lovely, oh, nearly lost one. Oh, I mean, look at that. You know when they're done, when you squeeze them, and they're giving that all that. Oh yeah. Right. Probably is a bit big, but never mind. Right, so try and separate them out a bit, because you don't really want one on top of the other, because you want to get that heat to it, to all different parts of it. A lot of them are lying over now, which is not a problem. And have a little bit of a drizzle over the top. Not too much. So we're going to put these in the barbecue again in the smoker for like 10-15 minutes really. Just keep an eye on them. Oh, look at that. It's worth doing this final step. I know it may seem like another bit of a faff, but seriously, it is very much worth doing it. Just allow them to tack up, get that barbecue sauce all over them, and that will be amazing. Oh yeah. Right, so we'll stick those back in. And we'll check back in about another 10-15 minutes and they should be done. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes, it's time to get them out and have a look and see how they're doing. Well, look at that. These look perfect. You can see we've got a beautiful glaze on there with the barbecue sauce. They're squidgy as you like, they're literally just breaking apart. These are so soft and gorgeous. I am dying to try one. But let's get them out, let's have a look and see how pretty they are. I think the only thing left for me to do is try this one that's got my name in it all day. That is amazing. Okay, so you've been watching Big Al's Barbecue. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification button. If you've got any comments or thoughts, please leave them in the link below and please check out my other videos. Until then, I'll see you next time.